Hello again, people. Yes, we've done it. We have beaten the 52 game challenge, yes. So that means 52 games this year has been beaten. It equates to one a week, but we beat it before the end of the year, so that's pretty good going, I think. As I said in previous videos, I've beat a lot of weird little games in between, which I've not counted, but these are the ones I've put on the list of stuff I've done. I would say it's stuff I'm proud of, but it's some of it I'm not proud of, but it took me time, or it was so frustrating that I thought I'd add it to the list. So, yeah, if you want to see the rest of the games, which is numbers 1 to 40, they're in other videos on the channel somewhere. But never mind. We'll get on here, shall we? With games number 41 to 52. So, here goes. Number 41 is one that I'm not proud of, but a certain movie had just come out. I thought it would be entertaining to play a game I owned in that franchise. I streamed it, and it was okay for a couple of minutes. Then it became the most repetitive thing I've ever played. Well, probably not the most I've ever played, but it's up there. Don't laugh. It was Barbie and her sister's Puppy Rescue on the Xbox 360. Anyone in the UK might not have seen this before. This is an American exclusive when it comes to the 360. It did get a power release on the PS3, which fetches a decent amount of money now. Which I did once have. I don't know what I did with it. Never mind. So what type of game is it? It is an open world puppy collecting game? Is that the only way I can put it? Basically, you leave your little puppy rescue facility and you either walk around or ride a bike around an open world until you get something that prompts you that you might like get a phone call, say there's a puppy over there, go get it. And you go get this puppy, you go to it, you get a little mini game of walking through a maze or trying to coax it out of a bush or something. And then when you've got the puppy, you take it back to your centre and you put it in your little thing where you've got like 6 kennels, and you do little mini games to like heal them. So you wash them and you play with them. That's about it. There isn't much else to it. Oh, you do little obedience training with them as well. And then once they've done that, you rehome them using some computer. And you do that over and over and over, and you have to do it with, well, to get the 1000 G, I think it was about 30 puppies or something. There may have been more, I don't know. But it's incredibly repetitive. But yeah, I wanted to beat it. It's one of those ones I went through the effort of importing to have in my collection. So why not? Give it a go. I don't recommend it to anyone. But yeah, also it's raining here, by the way, so if you hear any rain, I apologise. There isn't much else I can say about this. It went on for very long. Probably about 25-30 hours I played this for. Yeah, I'm not proud of myself. Not at all. Avoid. Game 42 is Tail Concerto. It's a game where you play as an anthropomorphic dog, like Cop, and you have this like mech suit, and you ride around in it, and there's a gang of cats called the Black Cat Gang. You have to try and stop their nefarious deeds, basically. Yeah, it's a pretty good game, to be honest with you. I'd recommend not picking this one up. This is the PAL version. It's only came out in France, so it's entirely in French. Your best bet's to play the American version, however you can, because it's very expensive. So is this one, but nowhere near as expensive, simply because of the language barrier on it. But yeah, as I said, you just pilot this mech suit and go around kind of stopping these cats. It kind of reminds me of a cross between Tron, like the Misadventures of Tron with the mech suit, and Ape Escape. But you don't really do the Ape Escape style capturing of things. You do chase after cats and knock them over and whip them into your mech, but that's not like the main focus. It's more story with a little bit of that in it, and then some bosses and stuff. But yeah, it's a very good game. It's very easy. It's easy to get lost in though, so you might want to play it in English if you only speak English. But the final boss is annoying. There's like a level before it where it's just loads of platform and you've got to get up higher and higher and higher and go through these like warp zones. But I kept falling off and that was doing my head in. Then like you get to the final boss and every time you beat the final boss you think, yeah, I've done it. But he just gets back up every time. And there's no indication that you're supposed to do something else in the fight. But luckily we worked it out. But yeah, I streamed this from start to finish and genuinely enjoyed it. I would actually highly recommend it if you don't mind a bit of a janky, but like, game full of charm, I guess. Yeah, pretty good game. Just shame about its price and the fact that the power one's in French. But what do you do? Play it, it's good. Game number 43 is a game that I didn't think I was going to get the platinum on, but I did. It was Gear Shifters. It's a side-scrolling, like, horizontal shmup, but you're driving a car, so you actually have the weight of the vehicle as it moves up and down. It makes it really kind of weird to play. Unlike your traditional shooter where you can easily, like, freely move around, you have to realise you're in a car, so it's a bit weird. But yeah, it's pretty tough actually. This basically you've got like a route that you have to like work your way across in the main story, but each route's into sections and you have to make your way through the section basically through a shooter stage. But there's certain factions and things you've got to make sure you've taken out a certain number of enemies, or there's like leaders and things that pop up which you can take down to clear out areas. It's a bit strange. It is good. It's very mobile phony though, if that makes sense. It feels like it was on a phone then got ported to a console, which it might have. A lot of games do these days, especially these like cheaper kind of ones. As a shooter goes, it's not the best. It's playable. It's one where it's built so you have to keep upgrading your car and get better things for it. So it's built to be replayed over and over. But I did enjoy it. There was nothing angered me other than, I think, a couple of the bosses. Again, I streamed this and I was raging at one boss. I could not beat it to save my life. So I gave up and went to bed. Then I got up the next day and actually beat it. So yeah, I was actually quite proud of beating this one. It was tough, but if you find it cheap, give it a go. If not, I'd avoid it. Strangely, I think the PS4 version's actually more expensive than the Switch one. It doesn't usually happen that way, but I don't know. Yeah, it's alright, Gear Shifters. If you want something different with your shmups, give it a go. Game 44 is one that I bought just out of curiosity. It's 13 on the PS4, so this is the remake of the one that came out on the Xbox, PS2 and GameCube. And this got absolutely slated when it came out. Does have a really cool slipcover. I'll just quickly show that off. It's in a steelbook, this little slip on it. Just cool, but I think that's the only way you can get it physically, so it's not like a special edition. But yeah, it's just a cel-shaded first-person shooter. It's pretty janky, but so was the original, so I don't know what was so bad. I have a big feeling when it came out, the graphics were quite different and they may have tweaked them or something, because all the old screenshots I saw didn't seem very cel-shaded. Well, playing through this now, yeah, it just felt like a HD version of the other version, so I don't know. It's alright, it's not difficult. I haven't got the platinum on it because I beat the game, then there's a ton of collectibles on it. So I'm still going back through trying to get the collectibles, but just I only do a few little sections at a time because I can't be arsed to play it again. But I don't like leaving things undone if I know I can do them. So yeah, I did it on I've done it on the hardest setting and everything, so I've done, I can't remember what I did. Most of it. I think it's just collectibles left, and I'm not a fan of collectibles and things like shooters. So, but yeah, it's alright. If you find it cheap, I'd give it a go. I don't see what's so bad about it. It was alright. Not a recommendation, but yeah, as a £5, you'd get 5 quid's worth of entertainment out of it. So, plus, just the steelbook looks really cool. So, yeah, it's okay. Give it a go. Game45 is one that I do not have a physical of, so I can't show you. It was on Game Pass. It was Escape Academy. It's basically just a set of escape rooms. So basically you're in this like room at the beginning, you solve some puzzles, get out, and you get recruited to the Escape Academy, which is like a university for people who are good at solving puzzles and escaping things, basically. But you get to this place, then they send you on missions to try and like escape certain things. Like you'll be in a room that's filling with water, and you've got to do all the puzzles to unlock the doors. Just like your standard escape room stuff. It's got quite a few different puzzles on it. It's really quite interesting. It's got a weird story of like, I don't know, how would you put the story without ruining it? Well, it's got like a kind of visual novel storyness to it, which takes a few twists and turns. It's actually really good. If you wanted just to smash out achievements or trophies from it, you could do it really easy with a guide. But actually trying to sit there and work out all the puzzles was really good fun. There isn't much else I can say about it. It's just charming. It was something different. You don't really get that kind of thing. I have seen recently that there was a couple other escape room games. There's one coming out which I can't remember what it's called, and there was one that I saw that was on, I think it was on Steam, but I don't know what it was. So I might have to look into them as well, because I genuinely enjoyed it. Some of the puzzles were a bit like head scratching, but yeah, it was good. Each escape room has also had a time limit on it, so you had to, if you beat it in a certain time, you'd get like different ranks. But once you'd done them once, you knew what you were doing, so you could go back through them, because they weren't very long. I think the longest it gave you to do one was probably about half an hour. So yeah, it's most of it's logical of how it will work. So I'd give it a go if you want something really different and you like puzzle games. I can't think of anything I could liken it to. Well, there's loads of like first-person puzzle games like Talos Principle and stuff, but it's not like that. I don't know. It's good. Have a look at the footage I'm going to put on. If you like the look of that, give it a go. Good fun. Game number 46 is a game that I own because I was going for the full Sodesco set on the PS4 at one point. Still am, but I've not tried to chase it. But it's shiny. This is sat in my backlog forever because it had broken trophies and you couldn't finish it. But I recently found out that they'd updated it so that you could actually finish it now. And it should have stayed in the backlog. This is dreadful. It bills itself as a non-violent platformer. So there's no enemies, even though you can get burnt to death and you can get crushed and things, so it's not non-violent. But yeah, you're a little robot, and you collect and save other robots. That's about it. It's got a few mechanics with it where you have to like, you charge yourself up to do different things. It was so bland and so boring. It played like a student project. That is what the only thing I can liken it to. Oh my god, it's really short and it's really easy, but making sure you get all the collectibles was a bit annoying. There's nothing, I can't say anything great about this. I think my mind has tried to wipe it. So yeah, it was pretty damn dreadful. I don't know if you can see from the back. It's trying to make itself interesting. It's shocking. Again, this is one that if you look at the footage to see how bad this is, to be honest, it'll probably look alright from the footage. I don't know. It had like a student level FMV at the beginning. I think it had really annoying music in it. The controls were really floaty. I kept slipping off of edges because, like, I don't know, the momentum of the characters didn't stop from. I don't know. This was horrendous. Do not recommend it unless you want to punish yourself with a very bad platformer. It's awful. Game 47 is one that again I played for the Club 52 game club, which was Murdered Soul Suspect. It's a game I played before. I beat this on the Xbox One when it first came out, and I've had the 360 version sitting in my collection forever. So to be honest, happy to go back to this because I thought I enjoyed it the first time. So I thought, oh yeah, give this another go. Can't go wrong there. And I enjoyed it again. This version has a lot of frame rate issues, which makes me think don't recommend this version. Recommend the PS4 or the Xbox One version. But it's a game where you play a guy called Ronan. He's a cop, and he gets killed right at the beginning. You get killed, and you have to solve your own murder. So it's kind of there isn't a great deal of combat in it. Your only enemies are these big ring wraith looking bastards that chase you around, but you just stealth up behind them and do an insta kill move on them. That's all you do. So you probably only kill about 10 enemies in the game, but the rest of it plays out like almost like a point and click game, but like third person. So you're just looking for clues, kind of detective game, CSIE kind of thing. Which, to be honest, it's not a difficult game. It's easy to find stuff. If you want to go for completion on it, there's a ton of collectibles, but you can. It tells you there's a point of no return, so you could use a guide to get all the stuff that you need before you go past that. But yeah, it's alright. Where you're a ghost, though, you can walk through walls and things, but there's sections that you can't go through because they explain, because it's all set in the town of Salem. So everyone's a bit worried about this kind of stuff, so they bless buildings and stuff that you can't go through. So you have to wait for people to open doors and stuff. But it's pretty fun. You can possess like objects and stuff like hoovers and things. And it's quite interesting. There's tiny little like side stories. You can find out. You find ghosts and you can help them. And you basically find out why they died and help them move on. It's an alright little game. It's definitely not one for everybody. But if you like something story-based, a bit slower paced, but also very short. I think it's only about 8 hours long. Yeah, I'd give this a go. It was panned on release, and I don't know why. I think it's because it just wasn't... I don't know. I think it was just a bit different. So, yeah, it's always really cheap as well. So, I'd actually recommend giving this a go. Why not? Game number 48 was a game I got through a CEX roulette, and I wasn't going to keep it, but then I changed my mind and decided to. It's Resident Evil 2 on the N64. I'm not going to go through why I decided to keep it or anything. But yeah, this is how I played Resident Evil 2 as a kid. This was so nostalgic to go through. It is the worst way you can play Resident Evil 2. It's really, the audio's bad on it, the visuals are bad on it. It does have a few different bits with it, like it's the only one that you can put cheats into and stuff, using like controller inputs, but yeah, it's just Resident Evil 2 compressed down onto a cartridge. Everybody's played Resident Evil 2. I did the Claire A scenario, and yeah, I literally just played it for nostalgia, and having it back on the cartridge and plugging it back into the console was great. And yeah, it was just flooded back memories, to be honest with you, and blowing the crocodile's head off by like releasing the canister. I actually let out a bit of a yes, like audibly, and the girlfriend was confused at what I was doing in here. But yeah, I just really enjoyed going through this again. If anyone hasn't played it, it's a survival horror game, like tank controls, all old school style. But yeah, it's just Resident Evil 2. Everybody's played this, and I felt like doing it again. So yeah, play it. Don't play this version. There's about 800 different versions of this. Play a different one if you want to actually have a better time with it. But there's also the remake, which I've never finished. I should probably go and finish the remake. I couldn't get on with it. This is Resident Evil 2 to me, not the remake. But I will go and give the remake another go at some point. Yeah, fantastic game. Maybe not this version, unless you're nostalgic for it. Game 49 was a bit of a weird one. It was the City of Lost Children on the PS1. I didn't know much about this. I thought it was going to be a standard point and click game. It's more an adventure game with like Resident Evil style tank controls, static backgrounds, but plays like a point and click, so you have to go get items to do things. But there's no real prompts in the game. Nothing tells you what you have to do or where you have to go. It is really bizarre. It seems like it's based off of a movie, so it feels like you should have had to have watched the movie to be able to understand what you even had to do at all in this. Like, you start in it's like a classroom with, like, I think some Siamese twins or something, and if you don't leave if you're looking around, if you don't leave the classroom fast enough, they check you in a basement. And then if you get checked in the basement twice, it's a game over. I don't know. It took me a while to work out what I was doing. I did look at a couple of bits when I got stuck, just to work it out. But it was a very strange story. It makes me want to watch the movie. Which, strangely, the girlfriend watches all of her movies through a random generator, like number generator, so she doesn't have to pick which one she's going to do next. And I think the day or two after I'd completed this, she pulled that out of her stack of films to watch, and she watched it without me. So I still don't know. But yeah, it's something to do with like a mad scientist stealing children on an oil rig or something. This was just weird. I wouldn't really recommend it. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't know what was going on most of the time. There's zero hints or anything, but I beat it. That's all I can say. I wouldn't recommend it unless you're a big fan of the movie, I guess. It was weird. Game number 50 was another shmup. It's called Gatchaman the Shooting. It's based off of an anime or something. This is one that I've only got because I bought it randomly off of Eddie Rollerxcore when I asked him to recommend me some shooters. Yeah, this is pretty good. It's the first shooter I think I've ever played which I beat everything on and 1CC'd it the first time. It's a very easy game. Basically there's like 4 characters, if I remember rightly, and every time you choose the first character you do like a stage where you're running along the ground shooting. But then when you beat the boss at the end of that stage, it always gives you a different vehicle, so each character has a different vehicle, so then it gives you a different stage of that in that vehicle with different bosses and stuff. The first level of each character is ever so slightly different, but very, very similar every time. But then they get a different boss at the end, and then the second level is always completely different. So yeah, you play as 4 different characters with like 2 levels each. Then once you've beat them, you get like a level where they all combine together, like Power Rangers style, and it goes really, really trippy, and everything's like, I don't know, looks a bit like LSD Dream Emulator, and it's all spooning out everywhere, and it's a level with that. Then once you beat it, that's the end of the game. I will say it's a vertical shmup, not a horizontal one. But yeah, I genuinely really enjoyed this, to the point that once I beat it, I put it onto whatever it was some kind of like hardcore mode or some different mode, which said instant death mode it was called or something. So I thought, okay, maybe that's 1 hit and you're dead, because you do have like a health system in it. So I thought 1 hit and you're dead, that must be it, that'll be a next challenge, I'll go for that. No, it still seemed to be the same difficulty, same everything. So my theory is maybe it means there's no continues. But I beat the game without continuing the first time, so I don't think it's going to cause that much more difficulty to it. But yeah, I streamed this again. It was another one I beat on stream. I'd actually recommend this. It's quite pricey by the looks of it, like to get this off of eBay, so if you can find a way to get it and play it, play it. I'm not advocating for how you should play it, but you should play it. It wasn't very long. All the characters, it probably took me 45 minutes to an hour, I think. I could look back at the stream and see exactly how long it took. But yeah, it was good fun. I enjoyed this, really enjoyed this. It's very colourful and very cartoony, so really enjoyed it. And yeah, thanks for recommending that one, Eddie. I really liked it. Game 51 was also beat at the same time as Gatchaman. When I finished that, I thought, oh, I'll put on another PS1 game and we will see how far we can get into it. So I thought I'd play Disney's Magical Tetris Challenge. So yeah, this is it's just Tetris, but with like an overarching story of like Disney characters needing things. But it was all things like, oh, can you go get this cake, or can you go get that, or the story was completely pointless. And there was some. I played through it as Goofy, so I was chasing some gem, and what's his name, Pete? That guy, he stole it. You want to get your gem back. So yeah, it's a one-on-one Tetris game, kind of like with a Puyo Puyo style thing. So when you like clear lines, it sends stuff down on the other side and that. But this uses like, it sends bizarre shaped Tetraminos. But I didn't find the game very responsive. I found like the Tetraminos really annoying. It was actually, I'm not too bad at Tetris, and I found it quite hard to just line up Tetrises on this. I don't know why. It's not one I'd recommend, like if you're a fan of Tetris. Yeah, it's just a bad version of Tetris with a Disney skin. To beat a playthrough of the story, I can't remember, there must have been six or so people you have to beat. I could go through it and play it with other characters, but I don't think it'll really achieve anything. I think it'll be the same types of stories, and it'll be just pointless plot over the top. Like, I don't understand it. Like, Mickey will come out and say, oh, can you help me with this? Then it turns into a game of Tetris. And he's like, oh, thanks for helping me when you've done it. It makes no sense. You haven't really helped with anything. You've just played Tetris against them. But I'm still happy to have it, because I love Tetris. But this one, yeah, this isn't great. And I'm pretty sure there's an N64 version I need to pick up at some point of this. But yeah. It's Tetris with Disney. If that's your thing, give it a go. If not, nah. To me, there's only one Tetris now. Tetris Effect. Everyone has to play a Tetris Effect because it's amazing. Just avoid this. Game 52 is one that I cannot show you, but I wanted to go out on a bang with like an awesome game, and this was awesome. I recently did the VR for modern retro stuff, and I would have put this on there if it wasn't Game 52 of this. This is probably one of the best modern retro games I've ever played, and it'd be very hard to beat. It was Sea of Stars. If you like old school 16 or like 2D 32-bit RPGs, this game is perfect for you. If you like things like your Chrono Triggers and stuff, it's some of the best sprite work I've ever seen in a game. It's old school, it's turn-based, it has the kind of the Paper Mario style. You can block by tapping a button, and like you can do double damage by like using like your rhythm of it and things. So you get like a boomerang. It's called a moonerang or something. But you throw that, but you can keep volleying that backwards and forwards as long as you can keep the timing up, and that can cause big damage on stuff. And the story's just really good in it. Everything about it is like top tier modern retro. It's one of the best RPGs I've ever played. I played it with a girlfriend. We just sat there taking turns on it until we beat it. Once we beat it, we went through and played it straight away again to do, there's a thing called the Artful Gambit or something. It's a medal you put on that basically makes the game much more difficult. I can't remember what it does. It's something like, if they hit you, you have to make sure you time everything to take away. Like, if you can block something, you only ever take 1 damage, but if not, it's like their damage is 95% higher or something. It's something really ridiculous. But each like enemies can put up like a blocking attack, so you've got to use certain attacks to knock through their shield. And in that mode, if you hadn't taken the shield away, you couldn't cause damage to them and stuff. It was everything about it. It was just good fun. It's also really like easy for newcomers of the genre, because like that Artful Gambit relic, there's other relics you can get which make the game easier, like ones that just make it like a story kind of progression thing, ones where you get your health back after every battle. Yeah, you can make it as hard or as easy as you want to, and it's just fantastic. I don't really want to spoil the story, but there's two endings. There's the ending you get when you get to the end, then there's the true ending for doing everything, and I'd recommend going for the true ending, even though that will involve finding a lot of things like rainbow conches, which are little shell collectibles. But I don't know how many hours we played it for, about 50 I think, roughly 50. That might have been 50 in one playthrough to get it might have been 50 to get the true ending, and probably another 5 to 8 to do the mop up of the harder playthrough. Pretty sure that's how it went. But that time flew by. It was fantastic, and yeah, it might be up there as game of the year. And yeah, the girlfriend absolutely loved the game. She did. She was addicted to it. That's what she wanted to do. Was, do you want to play Sea of Stars? Yeah, go for it. So yeah, that is all 52 games done now, and the highest one there, yeah, again, is the one we ended on, Sea of Stars, as the best game played this year. I think it must be. But yeah, any of these here you've played or haven't played or want to know more about, let me know. I'm not the best at trying to do this off the top of my head, as I said in my last video. I should write things down, but I don't. I wrote down a list of, so I can remember what I did in what order, and that was about it. So trying to remember back to stuff throughout the year. Yeah, seems like stuff like Shiny. Yeah, my brain literally has tried to erase that, I swear. But that's why I like to stream these games. So if I ever want to watch them back, I can see what I've played, and if I did enjoy it, the bits that angered me, I probably should watch them, shouldn't I, before doing these? But never mind. Anyway, until next year, when we do this all over again. So this is 2 years in a row that the challenge is, I think it's 2 years in a row, challenge has been beaten. So bring on year 3. If I beat any other games between now and the end of the year, I might do a little update. If not, I always put them on Instagram when I beat them anyway. So thanks for watching, people. I'm going to bugger off again. Have fun.